your pasta sauce has been lying to you. Those red jars lined up on the shelf promise flavor, freshness, and quality. Open them up and you're getting thickeners, corn syrup, and tomatoes, picked 3 months ago. 7 major brands do this exact same thing, and we're calling them out. But here's the part that matters. You don't need them. We found 3 sauces made the way sauce should be made, and we're breaking down why real tomatoes beat every convenience hack in the game. Number 1, Hunt's traditional pasta sauce. Hunt's sits on every grocery shelf and feels like the safe choice. It's been around forever, the label looks straightforward, and the price is hard to beat. Flip it over though, and the ingredient list tells a different story. You'll find added sugar listed early, which means there's a lot of it. Hunt's uses sweetness to cover up low-quality tomatoes. When tomatoes get picked early and stored for months, they lose flavor fast. The company knows this, so they dump in sugar and cornstarch to make the sauce feel thicker and taste less flat. 1 serving has as much added sugar as a candy bar. Eat pasta twice a week and you're consuming a hidden dessert with dinner. Your blood sugar spikes, your energy crashes an hour later, and you don't even realize where those calories came from. Number 2, Kroger traditional pasta sauce. Kroger's house brand costs even less than Hunt's, and that's the whole point. Store brands exist to undercut name brands by cutting corners you can't see. Check the ingredient list and it mirrors Hunt's almost exactly. Tomato concentrate, added sugar, cornstarch, a long list of stuff that doesn't belong in tomato sauce. The only difference is the label and the price tag. What makes Kroger sneaky is people think they're getting a deal without losing quality. You're not saving money, you're paying less up front while the real cost shows up in your health later. The tomatoes are the same low-grade stuff. Sugar content is just as high. Thickeners do the same job of making watered-down sauce feel substantial. Store brands bank on people not comparing ingredient lists. Grab the cheapest option and move on. That's the entire business model. Number 3, Signature Select Marinara. Signature Select is Safeway's way of making you think you're buying something better. The label looks fancier, the jar sits different on the shelf, and it costs more. None of that changes what's actually inside. This is where marketing takes over. You see Signature Select and think, curated, premium, worth the extra dollar. Marketing works. The reality is the marinara has added sugar, modified cornstarch, and tomato concentrate from the same industrial suppliers feeding the cheap brands. What's different is the packaging and the story. Labels say things like carefully selected or quality ingredients, but those words don't change what's in the jar. You're paying for the illusion of quality, not quality itself. Number 4, Ragu Old World Style. Ragu's Old World Style label does a lot of work. It's supposed to make you think of Italian grandmothers, traditional recipes, and time-tested flavor. That's marketing talking. Old World Style is Ragu charging more while keeping the same cost structure. The sauce still has added sugar, sometimes more than budget brands, because Old World supposedly means richer. They dump in extra sweetness and thickeners to fake that richness. They're not making sauce the way Italians actually do. They're making it the way Americans expect it to taste, overly sweet and unnaturally thick. Real Italian tomato sauce uses tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, and salt. That's it. Ragu uses tomato concentrate, sugar, cornstarch, soybean oil, and preservatives. None of that is old world, it's industrial. Number 5, Prego traditional pasta sauce. Prego's whole marketing angle is, it sticks to your rigatoni. That phrase is everywhere in their ads, and it's technically true. The problem is why it actually sticks. Modified cornstarch and thickening agents do the work, not quality tomatoes or careful cooking. Real sauce clings to pasta because the tomatoes have been reduced down, concentrating their natural body. Prego takes a shortcut. They dump in cornstarch to fake that same thickness without spending the time or money on actual reduction. Look at the ingredient list and you're reading a chemistry experiment. Tomato concentrate, added sugar, cornstarch, soybean oil, salt, garlic powder, plus a whole list of stabilizers and texture manipulators. Your brain registers thick sauce as good sauce because you've learned to associate thickness with quality. But cornstarch thickness isn't the same as reduced tomato thickness. One is cooking, one is food science. Number 6, Bertolli traditional marinara. Bertolli puts olive oil right on the label. Olive oil is expensive, it's healthy, it's Italian. Seeing it front and center makes the sauce feel premium and real. But check the ingredient list, and olive oil comes after tomato concentrate and sugar. That means there's more sugar than olive oil in the jar. The olive oil is there for branding, not for flavor or nutrition. It's window dressing on a sauce that's basically the same as everything else. Bertolli charges more than Prego and Hunt's, specifically because of that olive oil claim. You're paying for the story about Italian cooking and Mediterranean health, not actual quality. The amount of olive oil is so small it barely registers nutritionally. Real olive oil sauce uses meaningful amounts as a core ingredient. Bertolli uses just enough to say it's there and justify the higher price. It's a marketing ingredient, not a cooking ingredient. Number 7. Classico Traditional Pasta Sauce. Classico costs more than most brands we've covered, and it's positioned as the better choice. The marketing works because Classico is slightly better, but only slightly, and not in ways that matter. The sauce does have more tomato flavor than Hunt's or Prego. You might think you're getting something genuinely different. That improvement comes from a slightly higher ratio of actual tomatoes to concentrate, not from better sourcing or different cooking methods. They're still using aged tomato concentrate, still adding sugar, still using thickeners. Classico represents a trap lots of consumers fall into: the incremental upgrade. You buy it instead of budget brands, taste slight improvement, and convince yourself you've made a smart choice. You're paying more for a marginal difference that keeps you locked in the same industrial system. 3. Made with real tomatoes. Everything we've covered so far is built on the same foundation: aged tomato concentrate, added sugar, thickeners, and industrial sourcing. The sauces we're about to show you break that pattern entirely. These 3 use real tomatoes, either canned whole or processed minimally. No concentrate, no added sugar, no cornstarch, just tomatoes, salt, and maybe garlic or olive oil. Number 8. Rao's Homemade Marinara. Rao's costs more than every other jarred sauce on the market. It's expensive enough that people hesitate before buying it, but the price reflects something real: actual quality ingredients and a completely different production method. The ingredient list is short: tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, salt. That's the core. No added sugar, no thickeners, no concentrate. Rao's uses San Marzano tomatoes from Italy, which are naturally sweeter and more flavorful than commodity tomatoes. They don't hide behind sugar because the tomatoes don't need it. The sauce is thicker because it's actually been reduced, not because of cornstarch. That takes time and costs money. When you taste Rao's, you taste tomatoes first. Everything else supports that flavor. No sweetness that doesn't belong, no weird mouthfeel from thickeners, no aftertaste. It's what sauce tastes like when someone actually cares about the product. Number 9. Mezzetta Marinara Sauce. Mezzetta is the option that surprises people. It costs significantly less than Rao's, but delivers quality in the same ballpark. The ingredient list is clean: tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, salt, and a few herbs. No added sugar, no thickeners, no concentrate. Mezzetta uses California tomatoes instead of Italian imports, which is why the price stays lower. The tomatoes are still picked at the right time and canned immediately. You're not getting aged concentrate or early picked fruit stored for months. You're getting actual tomatoes. The sauce tastes bright and tomato forward. It's thinner than Rao's or the industrial brands, which some see as a negative. But that thinness is quality. There's no thickener holding it together. Reduce it yourself for 2 minutes on the stove if you want it thicker. That's cooking. That's control. Number 10. Carbone Marinara Sauce. Carbone is made by an actual restaurant in New York. The sauce is their recipe, made in their kitchen, and jarred for retail. You're not buying a mass-produced product. You're buying restaurant sauce. The ingredient list reads like a chef's shopping list: tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, salt, basil. San Marzano tomatoes, quality olive oil, seasoning balanced by someone who cooks for a living. There's no sugar hiding anywhere because a restaurant chef doesn't need it. The price is high, comparable to Rao's or higher. You're paying for restaurant expertise and a completely different supply chain. This isn't a factory optimizing for shelf stability and profit margins. It's a restaurant that decided to bottle what they already make.